Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Alice and today I'm going to take you inside my little mini sketchbook. This is a sketchbook that I carried around with me pretty much everywhere I went for a while, like over a year, and I had been sketching in it, so I finally finished it and I'm super excited to show you guys everything that's inside. So before we jump in, this sketchbook is a Stillman and Byrne Delta series sketchbook. It is the pocket size. I love it. You can see it is well worn, and this is actually the sketchbook that I chose to be my larger sketchbook now, but I do have it in like a little leather cover. But I've carried this around with me for quite some time and I really love it. It takes watercolor, ink, pencil, everything. It's really wonderful. Don't know how it does with alcohol markers because I really just don't use those on anything other than Bristol board. So let's go ahead and get started. I don't know when I started this sketchbook. I do not remember. Unfortunately, I didn't do a title page where I stated the month that I started, but I did start in 2021 because I know that from my signature, so at least there's that. This is just a little painting, little like from my mind painting with a little boat and little like palm tree in the front. I just thought it was cute to do a little wash and then add the pen and ink on top. So then we have this cute little cactus. I believe this was drawn in Palm Springs. I think it's the only sketch that I did while there. And then I feel like I want it to be drawn in Mexico because the next sketches were, but I think this one was drawn in Palm Springs. And then these were from Mexico. Just little doodles from when we went on holiday. We went to some like Mayan ruins, and so I kind of had some doodles of that. Just some quick little sketches of plant life, and then I have this leaf that I taped in there. It's kind of cool. It's like dyed the page next to it, which I think is really interesting. This is another really quick kind of sketch of some of the Mayan ruins. I was just kind of trying to sketch really quickly and because I was with my family and we were doing a bike tour, so I was just throwing down an impression of it because this is just a quick small sketchbook for me to carry around for when I'm bored. More stuff from Mexico, a little receipt that I stuck in, and some more trees. I really, really have finally started to enjoy and love painting plant life and working with plant life in my artwork over the last few years, and just like landscapes in general, which is something that I never really used to do. So it's exciting for me to be working with that. And speaking of landscapes, this was done from my head on a plane, I believe. I think I don't know if I even saw mountains or if I saw clouds and it reminded me of mountains, but I ended up drawing this kind of mountain snow scene, again from my head, just kind of building things in shapes. And I've just loved painting these like intuitive little landscapes. Now we have some things that were done in 2022. Some things in this sketchbook kind of bounce around. So like this I started in 2021, but I didn't finish it until 22 because I hated it. Painted over it with some gouache and then, watercolor ground. Painted it with watercolor ground and then went back over it and redrew it. And I like it a lot better now. I think it's kind of a cool effect with how the watercolor ground turned out. And then this is just like a quick little, I don't know, very like a watercolor sketch of a tree and forest type area. I kind of like doing these little impression sketches that just kind of capture an idea or a memory or a scene in a very loose, quick way. This is going to be a painting of the street across from my boyfriend's parents' house. I think we were just visiting at this point, or maybe this was Thanksgiving. I don't remember. No, I think we were just visiting. And I just sat outside for a little bit and I painted the street across and I thought it looked really nice. I actually think this is really cute. I don't tend to paint buildings because there's so many straight lines, it stresses me out, but this is a little collage that I did. I drew this little thing on receipt paper at work because I was bored, and it was like a little Animal Crossing inspired scene, and then I went home and colored it eventually. I like stuck it on here and colored it with some like watercolor pencil or watercolor, I think it was watercolor pencil, stuck on some stickers and made it into a little collage, which I actually think is a really cute way to like repurpose a doodle. These are from Derek, my boyfriend, his brother's wedding. So these were like their centerpieces. I think this was on the wall. This is a little petal from a rose at the wedding, and then just a little flower doodle at the bottom. Oh, I really like this spread, these two. These are mushrooms. I work at a smoke store, and there's these like cool mushrooms when you come in, and everyone always compliments them because they're just so cool. And it was a slow day, so I just sat there and drew them and then kind of did it all in my own style a little bit. This next piece is a really, I don't know, I really like this. I drew this with pink pen and then I went ahead and added in like watercolor pencil on top, and it's just like a elf or fairy looking down. I feel like she's preparing herself for something. And I just am really happy with how it came out. I like the profile and I think it's cute. These were from when we went to see the aspens. I live in Colorado, and in the fall, the aspens are so beautiful. So this was maybe a 10 or 15 minute sketch, maybe not even that long. Just a quick little sketch painting that I did, trying to capture some of the light coming through these aspens. And then this was even shorter, just a very quick impression, basic shapes of what I was looking at. And I actually originally intended to go back and work on this more, but I think it looks really, really simple and interesting in its original form. Just this little impression, this little moment that I captured of the scene. This, I had drawn these crystals and I wasn't really sure kind of what I wanted to do with them. I'd just drawn this crystal and I eventually ended up turning it into a collage and drawing more crystals on it. And I think that came out really interesting and it's a fun little page that I enjoy. This was also sketched when I was with my boyfriend's family. I went there for Christmas, and in what I felt was a very American style Christmas, they went outside and played American football. And being somebody who is not sporty and does not enjoy running around in the cold, I sat on the bench and drew them. So this was, it was actually really quite lovely, and I drew them playing football. So this page is where I really started doing a lot of doodles at work. So this is like a girl with like a sunflower crown on her head, and she's just kind of low in the page. It's just a little doodle. I used tritones, watercolors, watercolor pencil. And then this was this girl I drew and then ended up adding mountains, a lot of random things that I just kind of doodled together. Neither of them are perfect. The anatomy is definitely off, but they're just little doodles that I did at work. And I think color-wise, they're fun. And it's just like a fun little spread to look at. Oh, I love this spread though. These were two little like random doodles. The sky is lemons, so I doodled the little lemons and then added the background and then added more gold lemons in the front. And I think it's a really fun little patterned page. And then I love doing this style when I am just kind of want to make something, but I don't know what to make. I'll just do like squares or circles and use a color palette and just add different types of materials. So like I'll use watercolor pencil and then spray it out and then use like crayon or pen, and sometimes I'll use water on the pen and sometimes I won't. Just kind of like layering these different colors, and it breaks it down to just shapes and you don't have to worry about content and you can just kind of enjoy yourself. So I love this spread. This was never finished. I was going to put stuff on it. I never did because I could never figure out what else I wanted to do with it. I'm not happy with it and it will forever be unfinished. There's a couple pieces in here that will always remain unfinished, but that's okay because I'm ready to move on from the sketchbook and I think that's okay. I quite like these two pages. So this is a little doodle that I did and then I added in just a couple different types of watercolors, just layering a couple things and some white colored pencil, and just kind of like looking out this window, gazing out of it. And then on the right side, I layered some watercolor paper on top of some, what is this, stickers. And then I painted watercolor, and I like painting watercolor on the paper and then off it because you can kind of see a difference, and I just think it's a really interesting effect. So it's a red curtain, and I did these sparkles on there. So it's kind of like that moment before the curtains open, or like right as the curtains are opening before the lights come on at a theater. I love this sketch so much that I didn't really know what else to do with it or with the pages next to it. So it is the only page, the only sketch there. And I just really like it. This was another sketch that was a face that I absolutely hated, and then I went and painted over it and changed a bunch of stuff and adjusted it, and now I don't hate it as much. So one of those things, sometimes you just have to leave art and then come back to it, and it's okay to do that. This is a little doodle of a tree, kind of painting some of the hollow areas here in the sky, and I thought it looked almost like stained glass, and I thought that was a really interesting effect. So this was a collage page, and I was intending to draw on top of it, draw pictures, because this is watercolor paper, and I thought it was a really cool backdrop to draw or paint on top of, but I just never got around to it. And like I said before, some of these pieces are unfinished because I finished the last page in the sketchbook and I just felt like I was ready to move on. I didn't want to spend time going back and reworking paintings that just never got around to get finished. You know, they didn't get finished before the sketchbook did, so that's okay. Oh, I really like this spread too. The Bubblegum Girls. I think I drew her first with just pen. I didn't even sketch it out, and I was so excited. I was like, oh my god, I really like how this came out. And then I drew this girl, and I decided to make them both Bubblegum Girls and kind of like tie them in together, having a similar color scheme and kind of painting the way the style is done. Yeah, so I like those. Two things that aren't finished. I prepped some canvases to maybe paint on, but two paintings that I did complete. One is like a little gouache from my brain of like trees and grass and things like that. And then the other is a watercolor of a scene that I see from my work. Little flag waving and a tree. This was a sketch that I drew, and then on the plane, I didn't draw the sketch on the plane, it was already there, but then on the plane I decided to have it be like almost like a reflection in a window of a plane, so I think that was kind of cool. And then this was this idea that I had of doing like a landscape in all of these like swirly individual sections. I think it came out pretty cool. I like it. I think it's cute. I think it's fun. Makes me happy. Eye practice, definitely important. Sometimes if you're bored, you can draw eyes. Like I know that we all tried to stop doing that, but then I think we stopped doing it so much that we just don't do it anymore. And it is fun. It is fun to sometimes just draw eyes. So just draw eyes. Just have a good time. And then over here, I didn't want to draw eyes. So yeah, this face was really wonky. So I scratched out the eyes and then did all these plants around it. And I actually think it came out to be a really cool piece. Oh, we're getting close to the end. A little unfinished face, never got finished. And a dragon, because why not? I don't draw dragons a lot, but dragons are pretty cool. So I drew a dragon. Another little scene from my brain over here, just using some gouaches that I recently got. I don't think gouaches is a word. I think it would just be some gouache that I recently got. And I love the colors. I love working with that like pink and blue color scheme, and I thought it was interesting. I like her face, but it's too big for her body, and I couldn't ever figure out. I felt like I kept trying to make everything bigger, and it just wasn't working, and then I decided I didn't care, and it was fine. And then this is the last page, which I actually did kind of care about looking nice, and I decided to do some crystals with some like lavender type blossoms in front, and I didn't look up any references, so like don't judge me, but I think it's really pretty. I like it. I worked on this at work pretty much on like my breaks and stuff like that. And I love how this one came out. I think it's a perfect way to end the sketchbook. So that's it. That is my little mini sketchbook. I just started my new one that I will keep in my bag at all times. And if you have a mini sketchbook that you carry around, I'd love to hear about it. Do you like it? If you don't carry one around, are you going to start after seeing this video? Maybe you should. I drew a lot of these in restaurants when I was waiting for things. It's just nice to have something quick and easy with you. I hope that you guys liked this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did like it, then don't forget to leave a comment, give it a thumbs up. And if you like my vibe, then come to my Twitch streams. I stream at least 5 days a week, and we would love to have you there. So thank you again for watching, and as always, have a great rest of your day. Bye, guys.